Hello dear students, welcome back to the zoology classes. Today we are going to start the new chapter, that is Animal Kingdom. So this chapter is most important one and is one of the biggest chapter in the first PUC biology. So as it includes the discussion of the animal kingdom, and in that particularly two categories, that is non-chordates or invertebrates, and then chordates, under that particularly 5 classes of chordates. So under invertebrates we are going to discuss regarding 11 phyla, so 10 phyla. So before starting the discussion of various phylums and then the chordates, we need to understand the introduction to the animal kingdom and what are the basic features of an organism to be called as an animal, right? So, in order to understand that one, see, when we look into our surroundings, we are able to see, a different type of organisms, different types of organisms. If you list that different type of organisms, say for example, it may be an parrot, right? And it may be a monkey, it may be a cat, it may be the crow, right? And it may be the insect, for example, housefly, right? And may include the snakes, etc. The various type of organisms we see. And last but not least, we forgot to mention ourselves, right? That is human beings. And also the humans, right? See, all these organisms, they differ in the various aspects from one to another. So these organisms, in these organisms, what happens? Some organisms, they creep, some crawl, and some fly, and some walk, right? The mode of locomotion, that is getting displaced from one place to the another place, is different. The mode of locomotion is maybe by creeping or crawling or by fly. If it is an insect means it can fly, right? Or birds will also fly, and some other organisms, they move by walking. So there is a difference in the mode of locomotion, and also they show differences in their habits, and also we can find the differences in their habitat. So we can identify or we can notice the differences in their habits as well as the habitats, and also their behavior, right? And their size and shape, and the various other aspects. Even though there are so many differences are present between these organisms in their mode of locomotion or in their habitats and their behavior and as well as their size and shape, right? So this is what we call the diversity. Means the organisms which vary from one to another in size and shape or behavior, habitats and habits. Okay, and so they belong to the various kinds of organisms, right? That is what we call it as diversity or the biodiversity. So as we have mentioned many organisms here, right? So despite of these differences, all these organisms belong to the one group, right? So despite of differences, organisms varying from, right? The varying from what you call it as, for example, the small animals like fish, okay, to the sharks, and ants to whale, and earthworm to anaconda, right? So you can see the differences, a lot of differences in their sizes between these organisms. So all these belongs to one group. So what that one group? That is animals. All they belongs to one group. What that group is called as animals or animal kingdom. Even though there are many differences among these organisms, including human beings, so all these organisms belongs to one group only. What that group is called as means animals, nothing but the kingdom Animalia or the animal kingdom. The parrot belongs to animal kingdom, monkey belongs to animal kingdom, the cat, crow, housefly, and then the snakes, humans, sharks, whale, ant, fish, earthworm, and then the anaconda, all they belong to the animal kingdom only, even though many differences are present among them. Then why not the other organisms such as bacteria, the mushroom or the fungi? They doesn't belong to the animal kingdom. Why those organisms are not included under animals? So why they are kept separately in some other kingdom, and why not they are included in the animal kingdom? ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವು ಮಶ್ರೂಮ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಫಂಗೈ ಆಯಿತು, ರೈಟ್, ಬೇರೆ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಯಾಕೆ ಕರೆಯಲ್ಲ? ಯಾಕೆ ಈ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಾವು ಅನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಹಾಗಾದರೆ ಸೊ which organism can be called as an animal, or which feature should be present in that organism to be called as animal? ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ ನಾವು ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಅಥವಾ ಫೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಇರಬೇಕು? ಓಕೆ, ಲೆಟ್ us discuss that one. Before that, make a note of these points now. So now the questions arises in our mind that what are animals? If you call some organisms as animal means, or an organism as an animal means, what exactly animals are? Why they are called as animals only? Then the next question is, what are the basic features that decide or which decide the organism belongs to animal kingdom? Means which basic features that organism should possess in order to be called as the organism under the kingdom Animalia, the animal kingdom. Then why the organisms such as bacteria, mushroom, plants and other organisms cannot be classified under animals, or classified under the Animalia or as animals? Why not these bacteria, mushroom, plants cannot be classified as the animals? So we are able to answer these questions. So we will be able to answer these questions. Answer these. Okay. If we think on basic features of animals, criteria for their classification. So which criteria are considered for classification of animals, and differences between animals, differences which are present between the various type of animals. So when you are able to answer these questions, or we are able to answer these questions only after we think and study regarding basic features of animals, and then the criteria for the classification of animals, and differences between animals or differences among the animals. We know that millions of species of organisms are so far identified and discovered. So as millions of species of organisms are so far described and identified, as we cannot study all these millions of organisms at a time, so that it becomes very essential to classify them into convenient categories. So before classification, what are the criteria are considered for the classification of animals, and what are the basic features of the organisms belong to the kingdom Animalia that should be studied. So let us study the different or the various features of or the basic features of animals. Before that, make a note of these points now. So what are the basic features of all animals which are coming under the kingdom Animalia? Means here the animals are organisms under the kingdom Animalia the animals are heterotrophic eukaryotes. See how the animals are defined. All animals are heterotrophic eukaryotes with multicellularity and lacks cell wall. Such organisms are called as animals. So what are the basic features which are present in animals? Means animals are heterotrophic and eukaryotic organisms. They are heterotrophic eukaryotes with multicellularity and are lacking cell wall in them. Such organisms are called as animals. To understand in a clear manner, let's elaborate this by listing the various basic features of animals. So let's elaborate this with a list of basic features of animals. So that list is nothing but here. Holozoic nutrition, and then multicellularity, multicellularity. Next, eukaryotism, eukaryotism. Next is growth. Okay. Next, locomotion, locomotion. Nervous and sensory control. Next, reproduction, reproduction. So these are the basic features of organisms which belong to the kingdom Animalia, right? So holozoic nutrition, multicellularity, eukaryotism, growth, locomotion, nervous and sensory system, as well as what is called as a reproduction, right? So these becomes the basic features of animals. So in order to understand, let's describe all these features in detail one by one. So what is the definition of animals? Means the organisms to be called as animals means they must possess the basic features such as heterotrophic, they must be heterotrophic eukaryotes with multicellularity and lacks cell wall, right? Means animals or the animal cells are lacking cell wall, and animals will be heterotrophic in nature, means they are not able to prepare their own food. They depend on other sources like other plant or the other animals and plants. Then eukaryotes means their cells are eukaryotic in nature, means the cells are consisting of a definite nucleus with the nuclear membrane or the nuclear envelope, and they possess multicellularity, means no organism is made up of single cell. So here, so in to be accurate, we can say that no animal is unicellular. There are unicellular organisms are there, but no animal is unicellular, and all animals are said to be multicellular in nature, means they are made up of more than one cell or more than two cells. If you take into the list of basic features of animals, we can list them like this: holozoic nutrition, multicellularity, eukaryotism, growth, locomotion, nervous and sensory control, and then the reproduction. Okay, so let's understand these features one by one. Okay, first you make a note of these points now. So let's discuss these features in detail. The first one, heterotrophic nutrition. What do you mean by heterotrophic nutrition? All animals are heterotrophs. All animals are heterotrophs, means they cannot prepare their own food, but they directly or indirectly depend on plants, and they directly or indirectly depend on plants for food. So that's why the animals are called as heterotrophs. Okay, as they depend on the other source for the food, they are called as heterotrophs. But what is the meaning of directly or indirectly depending on plants for the food? To understand that one, okay, so let's see what are the types of organisms based on the requirement of nutrition. So based on nutritional requirement, animals are categorized as herbivores, right, omnivores and carnivores, right? So these are the three categories of animals based on their nutritional requirement. So what is the food source for the herbivores? These herbivores, they directly depend on plants. Why? Because they eat plants and plant sources as the food. As they eat plants and their products. So what are the products of the plants? The products may be, okay, those are vegetables, fruits, cereals and pulses. Those are the products of the plants. So what are the products of the plants here? The products of plants are nothing but here. They may be the vegetables, fruits, cereals and then the pulses. So the animals which are eating the plants and their products, such organisms are called as herbivores. Then omnivores and then the carnivores here. So omnivores means here those animals which can eat both plant as well as the flesh of other organisms are called as omnivores. And carnivores means those organisms or the animals which eat only the flesh of the other organisms. Those are called as carnivores, right? So these two organisms, they depend indirectly on plants. How they are indirectly dependent on plants? Omnivores, they eat plants directly, so that directly depend on the plants. But as they can eat the other organisms also, they are indirectly dependent on plants. Carnivores, they eat only the flesh of other organisms. Then how come they depend on the plants? And we say that they are indirectly dependent on plants. Let's understand this now, okay? For example, see, these are eaten by lion. So the lion eats the dates. And what is the food for the dates? Nothing but grass. So here the grass is eaten by deers and deers are eaten by lion. So your deer is directly dependent on grass, that is the plant, for the food source, and lion is depending on the deers for the food source. If there is no grass, no deers will be present. No deer means the lion cannot survive. So without plant, no other organism or no animal can survive. So only we say that omnivores or the carnivores or herbivores, directly or indirectly, they will be dependent on plants only. So without plants, animals cannot survive. Right? So this can be best illustrated with this example. Okay, food for the deers is grass. So grass is eaten by deers and deers are eaten by lion. So your deer is directly dependent on grass and lion is directly dependent on deer but indirectly dependent on grass. if no grass is present, no deer can be survived. Okay, if no deer is survived means no food for the lion. So in this way, okay, all animals are directly or indirectly, they depend on plants for the food source. Is this clear, guys? So in this way, as the herbivores or the omnivores or the carnivores, all are depending on the other sources for the food, either the other organism or the plants directly, but they cannot prepare their own food. In this way, all animals are heterotrophic in nutrition or heterotrophic organisms these are. Is it clear, guys? Make a note of these points now. So this is what regarding the introduction to the kingdom Animalia and the list of the basic features, and in that we have discussed the first point, that is the heterotrophic nutrition. In next class we will discuss regarding the remaining basic features of animals. Okay, so hope you have enjoyed today's class. Thank you, guys.